Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to Her Story, Bringing the Horns. Right, Fish? That's right. So, We're obviously going to continue. All right. Looks like we searched sex, but we haven't. It was circled on my page, but we didn't listen to it. That's it's good thinking. Oh, here's our. Here's everything we've searched. All right, so we know there's two of them, or she's crazy, but I think pretty sure there's two of them. They were split up at birth, and one of them was banging the husband. So we need to figure out who's who. One of them's got tats. And the tatted one, I think, is the not married one. So I think Eve is the one tatted up, who was raised by Florence across the street. And Hannah's the one married to Simon. That's what I think. I don't remember. So we got some things to go through. Obviously, we got to go through sex here. Doug and Eleanor, I don't remember if we explored them fully. I got them circled here. I got fight circled. Eve and the baby, I kind of want to go down that rabbit hole again if we haven't. I didn't cross them out. The dollhouse. Something going on with the cat flap at the parents' house. We had a miscarriage. We got to look into the watch, the coat, and the wallet. So that's all shit that homeboy Simon was wearing. Simon's the dude that's dead, who was married to Hannah. There's something with a payphone we got to look up, and then a taxi and a hospital. So let's hear about sex first. Right? That's what we're all here for.
Really? You're going to ask me about my sex life? I mean, isn't that private?
See, I think that's Hannah.
Are you married? How is your sex life? So, our sex life is probably fairly average for a couple after 10 years of marriage. No, you're talking to the wrong person if you think I'm some kind of slut. If you think I'm the kind of person that would have had sex with all those guys.
Sex with all those guys. Should we search that?
No, I was 15. Carl was older.
Who's Carl?
17, I think. I was really into him, regardless of how he actually behaved. Lots of drunken teenage sex. We did it in a church once. Stupid. So he got tired of us and we split up after about 6 months. It was sad, but those early experiences, they help you realise who's really important to you, you know? Family.
He got tired of us. What's up, Baxter? How we doing? What did I want to look up? It was a
No, you're talking to the wrong person.
Sex with all those guys. Just pulls that one up. All right. Well, we started it. Let's see if we find out who the fuck Carl is.
Was he my first? No need to be so coy. No, he wasn't my first. That would have been Carl. He was a local boy in a band. He was a bit of a shit. But he was sexy. We were 15. Family. So, Carl fucked off.
Yeah.
There were other boys here and there. And then Simon.
Or is that Hannah? Come on.
The difference is, she's a better driver than me. She passed the test for us. I tried to take it and nearly crashed the car. Learned that you can't rely on confidence to get you through everything. She is the shy one. She was especially shy around boys. If Hannah liked a boy, I would have to pursue him. It was that way with Carl. Hannah met him first. She had such a crush. I let him take my virginity after a night that his band had played at. It got difficult. When I was with Carl, we would have sex, but Hannah couldn't let him see she was a virgin. She had lots of excuses. After a while, we decided that I should take Hannah's virginity. It's not that different to a bruise, pulling a tooth, a graze. We used a hairbrush. After that, we took it in turns, though. I was always the one who seduced the boys. Until Simon.
What the actual fuck is going on here?
Hannah was so smitten with Simon. She started getting jealous, didn't want to share. Even the first date, we went to see Tom Cruise at the Old Odeon. We both went, kept changing places in the toilet. We only had the one best dress, so we had to keep swapping clothes. Must have thought we had terrible bladder problems. The next date, it was my turn. At the end, I let him kiss me, but that was it. We didn't want another Carl on our hands, and the Ouija board had said to hold back. After that, it was Hannah's
Ouija board.
turn, and she slept with him. Broke the rules. Deliberately broke the rules. She wanted to be the first to sleep with him. I mean, that's when she got pregnant. From that one time.
There's the creepy ass reflection. Alright, I want to know more. What do they consult this Ouija board about?
When beautiful people died, we always felt like it was a sign. You remember Princess Grace? Grace Kelly? She died in a car crash the year before we met Simon. We used a Ouija board to speak to her, and that gave us the power to find him. That's what we thought then. That people who died tragically leave some kind of magic behind. We used to share dreams. We used to wake up and write them down in our diaries immediately and compare them.
Okay, well now I want to know about these dreams.
He saw me singing one of my shows. Pure chance. Not sure I remember what he was even doing there. Afterwards, I had a drink at the bar and he came over and we got talking. I knew who he was. Obviously I knew who he was. But he didn't know who I was. He was fascinated by the likeness. He guessed my name from my tattoo. Told me it was a palindrome, like that would impress me. I enjoyed talking to him. It was amazing to be able to sit and interact and talk to him after all this time. He didn't tell me he was married. I'm not sure what he was thinking. He later told me it was like he was dreaming. A waking dream.
Alright, so both their names are palindromes. I was going to be like, tattoos is Eve. Eve's a palindrome, but so is Hannah. singing.
So I moved out. Got a small bed sit. Got my tattoo to mark the occasion. I was singing in a bar in the evenings. So I had some money, enough money to...
I do think that's Steve, though.
And I've been doing something similar ever since. I haven't put down any roots. I don't exist. Nothing else happened that night. We talked, then I said goodbye. Then next week I was singing in the bar again, and there he was. And again the next week, he offered to buy me a meal. I told him I had already eaten, and so we got chips and ate them on the beach instead. When we said goodbye, he asked me to kiss him. Romantic.
He asked me to kiss him. That was an achievement. All right, we looked up twins, but we didn't actually look up sisters.
When she went home, Simon had a birthday tea waiting. Afterwards, she told Simon about me, told him I was pregnant. She wanted me to move in with them, this sister he didn't know she had. She knew that instant. The look on his face. She knew.
Okay, so they used to share dudes. Something happened. And they kind of split up. I guess it was Simon. But wouldn't Simon have remembered? See, that's what's not adding up. It's making it seem like Simon didn't know who she was. But I got the impression she did know Simon. Maybe she's crazy, man. I don't know.
She sent him out the house, kicked him out, called me up, crying, and I went round. I guess I had a feeling.
Anyway, then he knocked her up.
Something was wrong in her voice, but I wasn't sure what it was. She called my sister on the phone. She never calls me that. My sister is gone. And she's never coming back.
Okay. All right, let's look up the watch. We'll start with the Simon stuff. Okay, we got a little bit more on the watch.
I guess you could call it that, but we were both happy to get married. It was a beautiful wedding. We had our first dance to Come Back and Stay. I'm not sure if that's a good wedding song, but I loved it. I chose it. I mean, it was genuinely our first dance. We'd never danced together before. It was probably awful to watch, but I enjoyed it. It felt like it was just me and Simon for that moment. Just the two of us. It happened very quickly. We hardly had to talk to each other. We agreed almost silently. The baby was what mattered. We'd help each other. We cleaned up. We bagged up the broken mirror, her clothes. They're gone. We took him down to the cellar. We knew we had an alibi, and we wanted the body to be found later. We wanted to have suspicion on us, so we could then disprove it rather than have it linger. Better to keep the body in the house than risk being seen with it. The watch, that was my touch, to make sure the alibi stuck.
So they did it together?
Okay. I parked up on the street. It was busy, so I parked down the end of the road. I walked up to the house, I knocked on the door, no answer. I took my keys out of my bag, unlocked the door. The main lock was unlocked. I could tell because the key wouldn't turn when I tried to turn it to the left. I walked in. Simon's coat wasn't on the peg. I couldn't see his shoes on the shoe rack. I shouted out for him.
Then we
I
heard
walked
this
straight
today.
into the kitchen. He usually sits in there to have a cup of tea and read his paper. He wasn't there. I touched the kettle. It was cold. I looked quickly into the living room. Nothing. I walked upstairs to the bedroom. He wasn't there. I didn't search for him because it was pretty clear he wasn't there. Then I had a shower. Whilst I was in the shower, the phone rang. I think it was Eric, his boss. I didn't answer it. Then I
Okay,
came
yeah,
out
we haven't gotten there,
and
okay.
I was just exhausted. So I lay down on the bed and I fell asleep, but I didn't mean to. I woke up a couple of hours later and I was surprised to see no one in the bed next to me. And then I remembered where I was and what had happened. That's when Eric called again. I spoke to him. Then I called Simon's parents. And then I decided to come and see you. That enough?
Do we need to add it to the data at the bottom? No. All right, what's up with the wallets? Okay, we've done everything on the wallet. All right, let's cross these off. Let's look up Doug. Here we go. Doug and Eleanor.
I've been round to Doug and Eleanor's and they're very worried. I feel sorry for them.
Okay, why do you feel sorry for Doug and Eleanor?
I got a job to contribute, you know. Doug knew someone and I got a job as a dinner lady at the primary school. They said it didn't matter if I could cook or not, just don't poison the kids. So you see, it's always been complicated between me and Simon. It's never just been the two of us. There's always been pressure.
What did Doug and let's look up pressure.
1984 was an awful year in the end. We were living at Doug and
1984.
Eleanor's. I lost the baby at the end of spring and my parents died in the summer. It was a hot summer, a heat wave. So when they discovered the bodies, it was just awful.
Bodies.
Because of the circumstances, them dying together like that, they brought in a lot of police. A forensic entomologist. I had to look that up. It was because of the heat. It's just awful.
What does that mean? No. Oh, did we get enough information? Hold on. Which one will you just play?
1984 was an awful year in the end. We were living at Doug and Eleanor's. I lost the baby at the end of spring.
Okay. I think we got enough information to finish, is why it says the chit chat.
Yes. I speak with Eleanor at least once a day. Not that there's anything much to say. It's more just...
Hey, there's one. 1984. Really? Alright, what was this pressure? I got the chills, man. Okay, that's the only pressure. Let's look up bodies.
If one of us got hurt, the other one would have to be hurt too. A grazed knee, a bruise. When I lost my tooth first, we had to pull our harness to match. Once, I slept with a boy who was seeing another girl. The girlfriend came up to Hannah the next day and punched her in the face, gave her a huge black eye. That night, she had to do the same to me. And she almost went too far. I couldn't see out of that eye for days.
So how did they do school?
She snuck a frozen piece up for me from the kitchen. So much of our bodies were synchronized anyway. We started our period on the same day. All our childhood diseases, stomach bugs, nits.
Alright, yeah, let's get some information on how they did school.
When I was at school, I worked part-time in the front shop. It was sort of an extended family thing. My dad used to work there, my mum worked there before I was born. I took care of paperwork, filing, typing out invoices, that kind of thing. It was a good job for a girl back then. I didn't work a till or anything though. I was quite shy, so I wouldn't have liked to have worked a till. We couldn't afford our own place. Simon dropped out of school, went full-time at the Glaziers. That was Eric's generosity. We moved in with his mum and dad. They had a spare room for us and the baby, if it came. It was a nice change, time to myself, living there for those months, full of hope.
So it's Doug and Eleanor, the in-laws. And this, is there more than one baby we're talking about here? I don't know how many babies we're talking about.
Mum and Dad never knew what was going on. We got so good at it. We were so in sync that we'd use each other to cheat. If one of us had a hangover, the other one would go to school. Whoever was best at a subject would sit the exam. There were lots of differences between us. Some things one is better than the other at.
Let's look up in-laws. We looked up parents already, right? We've had to have. Yeah. Let's look up parents and Simon. Hey.
It was after dinner. I'd spoken to Simon's parents on the phone. I looked up for an early night and I suddenly had this thought. I think it was something his mum had said. She'd been speaking about old stuff, sad stuff, about when we lived there, about the baby. There's some boxes in the cellar, nursery stuff, stuff we never needed and I never had the heart to throw out. I suddenly remembered that when I'd looked down there the week before, those boxes, that pile was in the wrong place. I went cold all over. I went down there with a torch and went straight to the back, and that's when I saw the bin bags. Pulled them open, saw the body. I screamed, and that's when I called the police.
Bin bags.
Simon's parents offered to put me up, but I didn't think it would be a good idea.
So she's just
It'd be
scheduled to
too
kill her
sad.
fucking son.
Not right now. I'm staying at a friend's.
What did we have a lot of choices are? Stories? So we need to isolate stories. See if we can get those other ones. Hannah's not 1H or 1N, is it? No, okay. Alright. I don't remember what the stories were about. 61 entries with Simon. There we go. Okay.
And the Glaziers. I worked there some weekends, and Simon had a part-time job there too. That was Eric's generosity. He was always good at helping out other people's children. Simon was quiet, more thoughtful than the other boys. Even then, he had a sense of craftsmanship. Wasn't always rushing stuff. Boys that age are just running around like headless chickens most of the time. Yeah. Plus, he had that look. He looked like a fairy tale prince from one of my books.
Tattoo, so that's Eve.
Hannah had a miscarriage. This was late in the pregnancy, and it left her infertile. Felt like the universe had corrected its course. We were aligned again. But Hannah and Simon were still living with his parents. They were married. Simon had a job at the Glaziers now. Eric had given him a full-time position after he left school. And then...
And then what? No, and then? Hold on. Said he was good with kids. Okay, let's look up that miscarriage. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I was infertile. Thought I was. They told me I was infertile after the miscarriage because of complications.
Okay.
I think it was that time, the first time, at the house, in his bed, that I got pregnant. Amazing, right? This fucking magic sperm. And they say lightning doesn't strike twice. I didn't tell him. I was 3 periods. I had pretty irregular periods anyway, but 3. I had always thought we were infertile. Both of us. I didn't tell him. Just waited. Hannah and I were meeting for our birthday, and I told her because I thought she would be happy for us both. I think she was.
Aha!
Yes, I'm fine. I won't be sick again. This happens some days. I'm pregnant. It's morning sickness.
Oh, the sirens have been going off all night, buddy. Hey, so does this mean we can end it? I got this chit-chat thing asking me how I was doing. If I was done.
No. Well, yes. He found out on my birthday. I told him I was pregnant.
Wait a minute, I thought you said she didn't tell him.
It's Rapunzel. The story starts when she's born. Mother Gothel, a witch, takes Rapunzel from her parents and keeps her locked up in this tower. Rapunzel gets pregnant by the prince, and Mother Gothel is furious, so she cuts off her hair and throws it. Actually, her hair's already short here, so that's already happened. So she throws her into the wilderness, and Rapunzel is reunited with the prince, who's blind, but she kills him with her tears, and so it's a happy ending. Is that too much?
See, there's 14 Eric things, and we only got a handful of them. Did we search both of them together? I mean, I don't know how much I got. Like, I don't know. I don't think the boss has that much to do with it. So let's stop looking into Eric. We saw everything on the cat flap. There's 64 wheeze. Arguments, we only got 9. So let's do arguments and Simon. Okay. Dude, I don't know where the story begins. I don't know where the story ends. Like, I don't know. Dude, this whole thing is fucked. Did you hear the part about them taking her virginity with the fucking brush? So there are 9 arguments, right? Okay, so what are the arguments about? Right, am I doing this right? You just had... We were getting some earlier. How many things we get for Doug? We got 6. All right, there's one of them.
This is the 3rd day running you've called me in. I speak to Doug and Eleanor every day. And they say you've been asking a lot of questions about me. Should I be worried? Am I a suspect?
Or would it be mother? This sounds British, so. All right.
Okay. There's a girl and she's staring out of the window. She's sad.
This is Rapunzel again?
She's trapped. She's here. She's looking out the window because her mother won't let her out. I would have been a good mother. I was young, but I would have been a good mother. She was a girl, by the way, the baby. We were going to call her Sarah. Simon wanted to call her Ava after his nana, but I didn't want her to have a symmetrical name.
Okay.
Well, she wasn't my real mother, but she raised me. Do you want to hear the story? It's a real-life fairy tale.
How about raised? There's 18 things on parents. Just fairy tale? Good call. Good call, Baxter. That's why we keep you around.
Sorry. The picture, the way it's drawn, just reminded me of the books we used to read as children. I read those fairy tales over and over, and they were so real to me. Rapunzel was my favourite. My brain is just full of it. Are any of these in colour? Simon never cheated on me. He was devoted to me, and I was devoted to him. Nothing in life is easy. We were good to each other. Life isn't a fairy tale. You do what you can.
I mean, does it make a difference? Okay, there's 2 more that we can't see. Did I spell Rapunzel wrong? I think I did. Did we do that already? I think we did that already. I mean, we could have seen them all. I think we looked up cheated before. Well, I guess we'll find out. Well, fuck.
No, I have never been unfaithful. I've never cheated on Simon. Have I ever cheated on Simon? You asked that question yesterday. You're reaching here. Oh, I don't know why. No, I've never cheated on anyone. I've never taken anything from anyone.
You took your sister's
Simon's
virginity.
dead. But I have my baby to care for. Why are you trying to make me sad? Why are you so obsessed with sex and affairs?
Affairs.
You cheated on your wife. Is this your thing? It was supposed to be a secret. Just because Simon is dead doesn't mean I have to give up all his secrets. It doesn't have
Secrets.
anything to do with what happened to Simon. No one murdered my husband because he cheated his expenses for a romantic weekend in Oxford.
Did we look up alibi and seller yet? I don't think we did. Devoted. Let's try that one too. Okay. There we go.
An affair. Simon wasn't having an affair.
He was banging your sister, dude.
What did your wife do? She didn't kill you. You think I killed Simon because he was having an affair? Well, I didn't kill him. I wasn't even there. I was in Glasgow worrying about whether my baby was still growing inside me. I mean, why would I kill Simon? I loved him.
Secrets.
When we weren't together, we'd send secret messages by tapping out a code that we'd learned from a book, the knock code. Something prisoners of war would use. We'd tap them out on radiator pipes or the attic floor. Dad thought we had mice, but they couldn't find any. Bought a cat anyway.
Ooh, 50% of the database active. How much did you get there, Tommy? Do you remember? All right, so let's look up the seller.
The whole thing was wrong. The bags, I think they were from our kitchen. You can probably check that. We never go into the cellar. It's just a place we put things we don't need.
Let's look up bags. We looked up bin bags earlier.
The bags were taped up. I think it was parcel tape up.
Okay, bags, tape.
Well, fine, considering. I got back into the house today, and that was weird, knowing your people have been there through my things. It's like I've been burgled. Only worse, obviously. I don't know. I haven't looked in the cellar yet. They sent a cleaner in. As good as new, he said. But they had to throw some stuff out. Couldn't get the blood out.
I don't think we ever looked up blood.
And I'm still waiting to hear from the coroner so we can get a date set for the funeral. It's going to be a cremation. So...
Alright, we got a bunch of information from that. Let's hit alibi real quick, though. Really? Okay. Alright, so let's look up blood. Because we don't know much about the murder yet.
Okay. I've given blood before. Do you need to take that for your records? Nothing like this has ever happened to me before. The blood. It's probably the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Like I said before, it was 3, something like that. I walked in, saw Simon. He was on the floor of the living room. His throat had been cut. There was a lot of blood. He was dead.
Every time.
She was sat behind him. She had my wig on. And she'd been there all day. And she had blood on her. And she was in shock.
Alright, that gave us a bunch of good stuff. Alright.
His body.
So this is when they're trying to lie about it.
His throat. It looked like his throat had been cut. And I didn't see his glasses. He has these thick glasses. He doesn't always wear.
Okay. So Simon started banging the sister, Eve. Knocked her up. Eve told Hannah on their birthday. Hannah cuts motherfucker's throat. They conspire to get away with it. And I think the rest of it's just noise, right? But I think that's it.
His throat. How? No, he doesn't have any tattoos. He has a scar down here near his stomach, past his hip. Cut himself with some glass. That was before, a long time ago. He looks just like the photo. He's not got his glasses on here though. He takes them off with the camera. But he needs them to see properly, you know. He has to read a newspaper or a menu in a restaurant. Not book so much, or watching TV. On his clothes? That would make sense. He made it. By hand. I mean, he brushes the silver onto the glass. It's not how they make mirrors these days. I mean, he made the mirror. And he gave it to me.
Okay. Let's look up living room. That's where the body was found. Okay. Let's just go right to bags. Okay.
When will the police let me back in the house? They let me take a bag of clothes with me, but...
Okay, that's not the bags I was looking for. What's up with the tape? Nothing. Alright. Alright, what about the corner? Alright, it's like coroner though, right? I'm an idiot. You know what? You're right. They did mention that wig. Good call.
A wig? You mean... But what type of wig?
It's good. It's what we're trying to figure out. There, Hannah.
I've never worn a wig. What kind of wig?
Okay, you did wear a wig because Eve said you did wear the wig.
The parents decided there would be a wedding. And after the wedding, Hannah moved in with his parents. There was no way I could follow. So we were separated again. I stayed in the attic. It was hard. It's like I suddenly didn't exist. I would sneak out, but in case anyone recognized me, I started wearing a wig. Hannah and I would meet up in the park. I was trying to get pregnant. But I couldn't. I mean, I couldn't do it with anyone we knew, so it was sex with strangers. Drunk guys I'd met in clubs, in parks and alleyways. I was 17. It felt like I was being punished. But it was Hannah who had betrayed us. I had to stop when one of the guys gave me an STD. When we met up, it was disturbing. For the first time, my reflection, she didn't look like me. She was fatter, flushed. If anything, I was getting skinnier.
Oh, that dick you were sucking.
I had hard to look sometimes. We talked about what to do. Was it time to become our own people? I mean, that seemed like the right thing to do, but neither of us wanted it. We agreed that her and Simon would get their own place as soon as possible, and then I could move in. And that was the plan.
There's the cops for you there, Tommy.
This was about 9. I went round and she was waiting for me. She was furious and so angry, the kind of anger you can only have towards yourself. We screamed at each other, argued, cried, we fought. I hit her back, left a bruise. I had my wig on from performing and she tore it off. Eventually, we grew tired of fighting and I left.
How do you fucking spell coroner? Like the coroner's office. Ah, there it is, and that's all it was. Okay. Okay, so Doug and Eleanor, we did that. We did Alabar in the cellar. We need to look at the attic. I don't know if we've done this yet. I know the dollhouse was up there. Even though she said she lived in the attic. Okay. Okay. All right, here's some more on that dollhouse. See if this gives us anything.
The legal stuff was completed very quickly. Hannah moved back in with Simon. Eric gave Simon the week off to help with the move. He decorated, modernised wallpaper, curtains. Hannah insists the attic be left as it was, dollhouse and all. Simon never went up there.
Well, if he was stabbed, if he was had his throat cut, took a knife.
Well, she has a knife. She's been cooking, I guess. She's been cooking him his favourite meal. She's his wife. And he's asleep and she doesn't want to wake him because he's ill. That's why she's sad. Because he's ill and he might die. It's kind of a sad story, so I'm not sure it ends.
I'm gonna look up ill.
Mother wanted me to grow my hair long, but I kept cutting it myself. I wanted to look like my reflection. She always had short hair when she was little. Mother would hide the scissors, but I would find a way. Cut it with a bread knife, something like that. My reflection would always leave her house and go on adventures, but I never could. Mother taught me at home, and I had books and TV.
I just said
TV
reflection.
was magical, but it was only on when it wanted to be, so I spent a lot of time reading books.
Okay, we've got a lot of these already, though.
Yes. The first time we saw each other, it was strange. We both realised at the same moment, I think. We must have seen each other before, but there was this instant when we first realised it wasn't a reflection. The reflection was staring back. I think I was 5. It was my birthday. My reflection was wearing a party hat and waving. I knew what party hats were from books. And it suddenly occurred to me, today must be my birthday. I waved back and we just spent ages waving at each other and copying each other's movements.
Well, I want to do ill as well.
I wanted to see my reflection. I thought that if I touched her, something would happen. We would become one.
Did we look up
One
birthday?
girl. The fairy tale was over, the witch was dead, and I'd be restored to my rightful place.
Ill.
Can you imagine? I tried. I tried to get pregnant too, but it didn't happen. I slept with so many boys, men. My body refused. I think my period stopped because hers had. I was pretty ill. I mean, how could we stay the same now? I felt like Hannah had really fucked things up. Set us down separate paths. we had become different.
Okay, I don't know if we looked up Taxi and Hospital yet. This is totally going off on a different tangent. But I don't have them crossed off. Okay. And then, real quick, what's that payphone? Is that 2 words? There we go.
It's like I told you before, I drove. I took the car and drove. I don't have my own car, but I have a spare set of keys. I just drove north. I wanted to think, put some space between me and them. Everything I told you before is true. I stopped at Glasgow. I was tired, exhausted. I pulled out and I hit a car. My car was okay, but I was worried about the baby, so I went to A&E to get the okay. Everything was fine. Slept in the car. When I woke up, I tried to call Hannah from a payphone. She wasn't answering. And then I decided to drive back. I had decided that she was more important to me than Simon.
Okay, so the alibi wasn't Glasgow. She really did take off because she was pissed. And then Hannah fucking killed her. Let's look up A&E and see. Okay, that's the only time it's mentioned. Okay, that's when they want to name the baby. Okay, I'm still... How did... The childhood shit. That's one word.
Childhood sweethearts.
Yeah, that's not what I wanted. But new.
Something like that. Are you married, detective?
There's 8 entries with books. I don't really know. I got unlocked written on here. I don't know why that is. Okay, whatever it is, we've looked at them. Portsmouth, did we look up Portsmouth? Yeah. Yeah, well, the throat was slashed. Oh, it was the mirror. She killed him with the mirror that he made. All right, hold on. Is that what this is saying here?
Her story is that she'd waited for him to come back. She put on my wig, some of my clothes, pretended to be me. They talked. She'd enjoyed being me. He said he wanted to be with me. Then he took out a present, another mirror, just like the one he'd given her earlier. That unique present. She went crazy, smashed the mirror. They argued, screamed. He hit her. So she grabbed a piece of the mirror and just swung it round. She cut his throat clean open.
Okay, we already knew this, though. I just forgot
She
about
didn't
it.
meant to scare him off.
So we knew that. I just needed it brought back into my memory banks. We did look up miscarriage, didn't we? Oh, yeah. I just want to exhaust everything on my list here. Cat flap, there was only 3 choices. We saw those. I think we looked at everything on the dollhouse. We looked up this again just a little bit ago, didn't we? Yeah. There's only 5 entries. Oh. Alright, her name's only mentioned 7 fucking times. Oh, are those the same ones? Look at those pictures. Okay, one of those is. So there's one more we're not seeing, or haven't seen. I want to know more about Florence. Do we have everything on Florence? We have everything on Florence. All right. We know about the mirror. Can we do anything else with the mirror? Let's search mirror. 11 entries. So have we got them all? Mirror gift. Mirror present. Okay. How about mirror birthday? How about just birthday? Really? We hadn't done birthday.
Yes, that's my birthday. Not one of the big ones, but I guess you can see that. Well, a week or so ago. It would have been the Saturday before my birthday. You know, I get like that on the weekends, have a lie-in, then want to get up and blitz the house.
Meat? Because it all goes down on the birthday. Well, maybe if I would spell murder right. No? Alright, so that's going to be too much. Okay, it's the only time they mention his full name. Alright, February, I got that written down. Is that when he was murdered? Is that when their birthday is?
Well, I don't know. I probably had to pop out and get something, that's why I was speeding. And that wouldn't have been noted on my timesheet. But I really can't remember back to February.
Okay, so speeding.
You must be desperate for leads if you're getting hung up over 6-month-old speeding tickets.
I want to know more about these tickets.
I remember the ticket, of course. I paid it without telling Simon. Didn't want to get told off. and they put points on the license.
What's this ticket got to do with anything?
I remember the ticket, of course. I paid it without telling Simon. Didn't want to get told. He has a wallet, a huge, silly thing, leather, real leather, I think. He packs it full of stuff, business cards, receipts, lottery tickets. He always carries it in his back pocket. I think that's why he's got a bad back.
All right, so they're just now reporting it there. There was something else with the speeding. She said she was on her way somewhere.
Well, I don't know. I probably had to pop out and get something. That's why I was speeding. And that wouldn't have been noted on my timesheet. But
Timesheets. No. What about their job? No? We looked up attic. Let's look up fight Eve. No. Fight Hannah. Nothing. Fight Simon. Give me a minute. Glazers? Well, son of a bitch.
a mobile phone? Yeah. Well, they have one for the Glaziers, but it's only for work. I can't remember the number. It's in the kitchen. I saw it plugged into its charging cradle.
Okay, so we're going to look up mobile phone now.
I did. Well, we met when we were 17, both working at the Glaziers.
17 keeps getting mentioned a lot too.
No. Everyone loved Simon. He's a glazier who doesn't have much money. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. What did I say? Mobile phone. No. What about just phone? What's Doug? No? Okay. We gotta combine some of these, is what it is. Like, there's two more glaziers. Like, what could we find? And she worked there too, right? Eric was the boss, right? Yeah. There's 11 entries with the mirror. Do we have them all? There's 8 with books. Let's look at that wigs again. Okay. It could be something that we've never even looked up yet. There's 12 things involving that attic. That's not even how you spell attic. Hid? Aha!
They said it was food poisoning. There was something in the food they ate. My dad liked to pick mushrooms, grow them too. They said it was the mushrooms. It was hard to believe. Death caps. They have a skirt around the cap. My dad taught me that. But, the police had no reason to think it was suspicious. They lived alone. And no one had any reason to hurt them.
Food poisoning and mushrooms.
I was living in the attic. It was a very hard time. I was depressed. I was still pretty sick of the STD.
STD?
And I came down one morning and they were dead. They were in bed and both had been sick. They'd thrown up a lot. And I slept through it. The police said it was the mushrooms they ate. Dad was a mushroom expert. I mean, he used to take us picking with him and he taught us how to recognise them. There's no way you would have picked death caps. But the police believe that's what happened. They never even looked in the attic.
All right, so the parent's death is... What about just mushroom? Okay.
At the time they said it was poison. Food poisoning. I mean, I felt so guilty. If I'd still been at home, maybe I could have done something. I didn't.
We're gonna get to the nasty stuff in a minute. I want to check that one out real quick. Ah, we already got both STDs. Okay, so food poisoning, mushrooms, STD, and sick. All done with. Are we back? I can't tell if we're back because I want to say goodbye. It looks like we are. Internet is back up. Yeah, I think we're good. So let's keep going with this next week. I want to know how much we can reveal. Didn't she hit her? Yeah, now we're back, but we're gonna wrap it up right here. It's a sign. I told you. I just got caught back up. Anyway, guys, we're gonna do this again next week because I feel like we got some more we can figure out. I guess. I want to know more about what happened at their talk when they met. I just gotta figure out how to get that information, and I want to know more about the murder. But basically, we know Hannah acted like Eve, and then slit her husband's throat, while Eve was up north in Glasgow. We have done that. And there's 10 of them, but we've already seen the first 5. Now there could be 5 more, or 2 more, or 3 more that we haven't seen that give us a little bit more information, but we got to pair it up with something to make it pop. But we also could have seen everything already too. I wish there was a way to tell us if we'd seen it already, or how many we haven't seen. But anyway, let me say goodbye before this shit drops again. Drop a like if you haven't already, guys. Drop a sub if you're new. I'm out.